Welcome to the 7th day of December 2021. Thanks for tuning in to the Day Weather Podcast. We've created a weather journal for kids with fun weather facts, some coloring pages, and some activities you can do, as well as a log to keep track of weather. Check out our link at dayweather.com. Well, we're in between weather systems today and into part of Wednesday. However, we are going to be seeing some bigger changes again by the end of the week as winter has finally arrived. We have a significant weather system coming for some areas as we head on into Thursday and Friday. We want to give a heads up to stock growers and travelers. Be prepared. We all know we have been extremely spoiled throughout the course of the fall and early parts of December with the weather we've had. But things are changing, and I think they're going to change for good here as we go through the next several weeks. First of all, we've got the system that's going to come in Thursday and Friday that will be impactful, not for all areas, but for some. An active pattern continues into next week, so be ready. Now, just a reminder, a lot of folks already commenting about how warm and dry the fall and early winter has been, and with good reason. Those are the temperatures that we've had for the last 30 days relative to average. And look at the warmest temperatures relative to normal, centered right over the central and northern Rockies and the central high plains. But you got to remember, when you look at the weather, when you look at things going on, the warm November and early December we had does not mean that correlates with a warm winter, because the winter months really are December, January, and February. So remember that correlation is not causation. As you take a look, the current patterns that we've been in doesn't mean that's how it's going to go for the rest of the winter season. Satellite photos tell a really big story here. First of all, here's the system that went through the region yesterday. It's going to slide into the Midwest, causing rain, snow, icy conditions, and colder weather. We've got this upper low right here northwest of Hawaii. So here's Hawaii. This upper low is just going to sit here for a long time, helping to build high pressure there in the eastern Pacific. See this curl of clouds up there in southeast Alaska? That's the next storm system that's going to be the weather maker Thursday and Friday. And you can see more clouds, more weather systems back up across the North Pacific. So we're teeing things up for a more active pattern. Now this is where we are today. Northwest winds aloft, moving on through the region. We'll have a little bit of weather in California with this system right here, producing some showers and unsettled weather along the west coast, but not much. You can see up here in that southeast Alaska region, a pretty cold and active storm system that's going to drag in a pretty good cold front as we get on into Thursday night and Friday morning. So Thursday night and Friday morning, cold Canadian air comes in, and there's going to be a wedge of pretty moist Pacific air coming in with that cold Canadian air. Anytime you take Pacific moisture and Canadian air, you put it together, you're going to give yourself a really good chance for some areas of snowfall. And this is the forecast through Friday afternoon of new precipitation. Notice this streak of blue right here, then going back into Utah, back into the Sierra Nevada, into northern Arizona, then across this area right here. This axis right here is the axis where we're concerned about significant snow falling and icy conditions that will really impact travel. One thing that could happen, and I totally expect this to happen over the next 48 hours, is we may see the forecast of this moisture band go a little more north or a little more south or stay where it is right now. But where you see the yellows, the oranges, and the blues, several inches of snow is going to fall. And look at the mountains of Colorado and southern Wyoming. Look at the Wasatch of Utah, the mountains of northern Arizona. This is going to be the most significant snow of the season so far. And if you go back into the Pacific Northwest, they're going to do well with the snowfall by the end of the week. Now let's zoom in a little bit. Take a look. There's a bullseye here in southern Carbon County, Wyoming, into northwest counties of Colorado. This is one of the driest areas relative to where we are in the drought pattern. So this would be a tremendous shot in arm for northwest Colorado, south central areas of Wyoming, and the Wasatch Front of Utah. Most of this is going to be in the form of snow as it comes in. So if you look at where the ski areas are in Colorado and southern Wyoming, look at Steamboat. Steamboat could get a lot of snow out of this pattern, as well as the Snowy Range, the mountains of north central Colorado, the back into the flat tops, the west central mountains of Colorado. Then again, you can see into the Wasatch here. Now out on the plains, there's going to be an area of some pretty decent snowfall as well. and there you can see it. The snowfall pattern, this is through Friday afternoon, extends out further into the plains than we have seen all season long. So travelers, especially I-25, Interstate 80, 70 in Colorado, 15 in Utah, you're going to have some problems. Look at I-80 all across into the Sierras and even across northern areas of the Great Basin. You're going to have some problems there as we get into Thursday and Friday. And if we were to zoom in a little bit closer, you can see this area of enhanced snowfall right here. And when snow falls in early December with a low sun angle, it sticks around. Even on the warmer days, it's hard to melt out that snow. So we're going to have some travel and livestock concerns right here. These are temperatures by Friday afternoon in Fahrenheit. Most of Wyoming, the whole region here underneath the snow shield, only in the teens and the 20s, so there's more cold coming. Snowpack conditions are very, very poor, as we know. Look at all that red. Now, this is the snowpack as of yesterday. I'm showing this to you to use kind of as our base reference of where we are now. Now that we're starting to see the snow come back into the forecast, we'll start to see these numbers creep up, and we'll check frequently to see how these storms do and help the snowpack. The thing to remember about the snowpack, it's not a race, it's a marathon. And the majority of the snowpack falls between December and into April, even into early May sometimes. So even though we've had a very poor snowpack season so far, especially over the last 4 to 5 weeks, that again, we can show the cat on the broken roof again. That doesn't mean it's going to be like that all winter. As we go out further, this is by next Wednesday. We've got another system coming, a little wave coming through. There's a little wave there. This is all going to continue to produce snow in the mountains. And look at the West Coast. Look at California, into the Great Basin, into the Rockies here. We're going to see a big influx of mountain snow and even some precipitation where they need it along the West Coast. We're starting to see more correlation now with the analog forecasting with the modeling. The Eastern Pacific Oscillation, when it goes into the negative phase below the zero line here, notice the green and blue lines. That is a cold, stormy signal for the West. The Western Pacific Oscillation also goes into the negative phase. That's a stormy signal. And the stratospheric warming trend that we've been talking about and mentioning over the last few weeks, that's continuing into the middle of December. And then you look at the newest European model that goes out 30 days all the way through the first week of January. Look at the green into the Intermountain West and the Western High Plains. Green and blue means above normal precipitation. So the tide is turning. The weather pattern definitely kind of shifting gears now. It's been a long wait, but it is finally here. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.